Okay, so for this lesson, we are going to focus on The Great Wave by Hokusai. And the element of art that we are going to mostly focus on is the element of value. Now, value is when we go from very, very dark to very, very light. And our lightest value is the color white. So there's a lot of different ways we can make value, and we're going to go over it a little later in the video. But using dark colors help us make a dark value. Pressing hard with your crayon helps us make a dark value. Blending colors helps us make a dark value. And coloring over and over and over again help us to make dark value. And if we use lighter colors or less pressure or color less times, our value gets lighter and lighter and lighter. And if we do no pressure or no color or no layers, we get our lightest value, which is white. So we can use a variety of materials for this. You can mix and match the materials, but we're going to be using value to help us create space. So last month we used lines to help us create space. Today we're going to use value. And again, this is a 2-month project. So today we're going to create the base, and next month we're going to finish it. So save it till next month, please. Post what you do today on Google Classroom so I can give you the grade for that, and then save it for next month and we'll finish the project. So let's check out that wave, The Great Wave by Hokusai. So here we see the painting, The Great Wave. The actual name of this painting is called Under the Wave of Kanagawa, but most people know it as The Great Wave. And it's by a Japanese artist whose last name is Hokusai, and he's best known as Hokusai, but his name is actually Katsushika Hokusai. And he painted this, or he printed this, when he was 70 years old in about 1830. And he used tools to carve this picture into a block of wood. And then he made the block of wood, which then had texture on it, into a stamp. And he stamped this. So it's not actually a painting, it's a print or a stamp. And if you notice, this giant wave is right over this little tiny mountain and a boat full of people, but this little tiny mountain is actually Japan's biggest mountain, Mount Fuji. And it's part of a series of paintings about Mount Fuji. And Hokusai made Mount Fuji totally small underneath this enormous weight. For this assignment, you can use watercolor paints. You could use blue and white chalk. We're going to use only the blue in the watercolors, so if your watercolors are low on blue, let me know and I can send some watercolors home. If you don't have any and you have a child that is interested in painting, and I know we have a lot of painters in this class, then I can send some home. You just have to let me know. You could use blue and white chalk, or you could use crayons, blue crayons, and you can use lots of different types of blue crayons. Okay, so I'm going to start with paints because I assume most people will be painting, but it's going to look fantastic no matter what. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just cover up the colors. Some of them are already covered. I'm going to cover up the colors that we're not going to use because we're only going to use blue, and I find that we often like to use a lot of the colors. So in order to paint with value, we want to use a lot of water and a very little bit of paint to make a light blue, and a lot of paint and very little water to make a dark blue. So I would like my sky to be a light blue. So what I did was I washed the paper. I just took water and painted the paper. And you may want to use a colored paper or a white paper. You may want to use even a cut up piece of paper bag would be really cool because it would be big and it would have lots of texture. And I'm just going to spread this blue out And I don't want it to be too dark. I want to use a light value because I want my sky to look far away from the other thing that I'm going to paint today. Okay? And if you choose to combine paint with another material like crayons or chalk, make sure the paper is dry before you add anything on top. So I do encourage you, and this is going to be a layered project, but mostly between this week and next week. Okay, so I have like a really light blue sky. Now, this is dry, and I am going to use some dark blue paint, and I'm going to start making my water move up. I want to make that great big wave. Okay. I want to make it go up and up and up. And then I want to make it curve. Now, it might not all work out this way, and that's okay. And again, if you feel like you need more modifications, just like last time, reach out to me and I can update the post as more requests come in. Okay, so now I have this dark blue wave. Now, another thing that I can do is I can add colors to this to make it darker. So I'm actually not liking how light it is compared to my background. So I'm going to open up that purple. I'm just going to add a little bit of purple to it, just to make it a little bit different than my sky. But again, we're going to add to this, not adding a lot of water now. Okay, and I know that we like in this class to go for the water a lot. So at this point, I might, remove the water unless we are switching colors, right? Again, ask me if you need any materials, paper. I don't have a lot of chalk. I could dig some up if you needed chalk, if your children are interested in chalk. Nothing's required. You just need to use whatever you have, whatever your kids kind of like. Okay, so that's pretty dark. Okay, and so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to use just a little bit of blue down here, and I'm going to spread it around with water because I think my brush is pretty wet now. I'm not going to add a lot of paint. Just going to add some water, and it's okay if it all kind of molds together because this is just our bottom layer. Okay, so not everyone's going to use paint, so let's see what this is going to look like when we're not using paint. Okay, you are not required to do more than one project. I'm just trying to show different options. So if you're done and you like the paint or you wanted to do the paint, just take a picture and upload it, and then you're good to go. If you choose to use crayons or chalk, let me just show you how to do that. I just pulled out all the blues that I could find in my crayon box, and I also grabbed a violet because I really liked how that looked in the painting. So that was kind of a happy accident. So with my blue, I am going to color very lightly. And another thing you could do is you could also make this into a texture rubbing. So if you had a crayon that was broken or didn't have any paper on it, you could stick something that has texture like a basket or a radiator or even a Lego plate underneath, and you could do like a texture. So here I have a Lego plate, and I'm going to peel this crayon quickly. Anyway, and I'm going to use the side of the crayon, and this could be a nice way to add a little dimension to the picture in a quick way, okay? But I'm not going to do that for the whole thing. Now, again, I want to draw that wave coming in from the side. So I'm going to use a darker color. So here I have indigo and regular blue. I might mix them together. And I'm going to use the lines to make that wave really look like it's moving and curling. And I'm going to think about, how would a wave feel? It would be going fast, right? And it would be strong. So I'm going to use fast, strong lines, which I know we love. And I want to use a new color maybe and mix it in. and make it real dark. And if you want to use that purple, you can too. So I have my background, which is the light value, and I have my wave, which is dark. Now, a lot of people really love the chalks. So let's see how this would look with chalk. So I could use my chalk like this, and I think some of us might not like the texture. I don't love the texture of chalk myself. So if that's the case, this might obviously not be for you, or put on a pair of gloves maybe. You can use your hands if you'd like to get messy, or you can use a tissue and kind of spread it out. Doesn't have to be spread if you don't want it to be. And then use those dark lines, not using the side of it anymore. I'm using the tip of it. And create your dark wave, okay? If you want to, you can mix some other materials in. So here I have my crayon, because that wasn't dark enough for me. You can lighten up your sky with the white, anything that you choose to do. So we have crayon wave, chalk wave, painted wave. So choose one. If you can think of another material that would work even better, or something that you have available, feel free to choose that as well. Reach out to me again, just like last time. Any suggestions, requests, concerns, any clarifications, and I'm happy to help you. I can't wait to see our great waves.